What's up, guys? Hockey TikToky is back again with an all-new video. Today, we're taking a look back at the past 10 seasons worth of third overall entry draft picks. So to start our list off, we go back to 2014 when the third overall draft pick was none other than Leon Draisaitl for the Edmonton Oilers. So this is a crazy steal of a deal for third overall here, guys. I think if people can go back in time and reorder the draft, most people would probably select Leon number one. He has been a game breaker, elite, superstar, upper echelon talent from the moment he entered the league until now. The only reason he wouldn't be considered, the actual driving force of his team is the fact that he plays with Connor McDavid on the same team. If he was on any other team, pretty much he would be the guy in terms of creating offense. And I think one thing that we can look at when it comes to third overall picks, and there's a little bit of a pattern here that we'll see as we take a look at all these guys, is it's almost like these are the safe picks. Like, these are the ones where the guy doesn't have the same pressure as the first overalls. He doesn't come with the same hype that was surrounding the pick itself. And they also don't have the sort of letdown and the chip on their shoulder that you see a lot of the second overalls get. So, maybe if we look back at this enough, we'll see that the third overalls might actually be the sneaky best pick of the last 10 years. Next up, in 2015, we had the Arizona Coyotes, who are now the Utah Mammoth, obviously, selecting Dylan Strome third overall. So a pretty good selection. I think this draft was one of the biggest drafts in the history of the NHL. And therefore, you could definitely probably find some other players that would have been better suited to fit third overall. But still a sneaky good selection here by the Arizona Coyotes, who obviously now, like I said, is the Utah Mammoth at this point. In 2016 saw one of the most polarizing figures in the NHL selected third overall by the Columbus Blue Jackets, Pierre-Luc Dubois. So he's had I say polarizing because he's had a very tumultuous career. He started off with Columbus and showed flashes of brilliance, of being probably one of the most talented players on the roster at the time, but looked really disinterested in playing up to his level at times as well. And then eventually the fallout of that was he demanded a trade out of Columbus and ended up playing for the Winnipeg Jets, where he wasn't happy playing there either. And basically, the story behind Pierre-Luc Dubois is that anytime he gets moved, anytime he moves around from franchise to franchise, he seems to have some sort of issue or problem playing with that team. And again, has shown flashes of brilliance of being a top, star player, but has never really lived up to that potential. So, I think the jury's out on Pierre-Luc Dubois, that he's never going to reach the heights that a third overall pick would have wanted to establish, but still a good player nonetheless. Probably could have helped a flailing franchise climb out of the basement to get out of those bottom picks. 2017, we have Miro Heiskanen going to the Dallas Stars at third overall. This pick was a fantastic one by the Dallas Stars. Heiskanen eventually turned into an elite defenseman, somebody who has been talked about in the Norris conversation. He probably could have even been regarded even higher in his time as an NHLer so far, had it not been for the fact that there's been some really stiff competition from other players in his same generation. So really great third overall pick. He's definitely a franchise changer. You know, if you were in the bottom of the league picking third overall, a guy like Miro Heiskanen would be a cornerstone piece that you can build around for the future. Next up, we have Jesperi Kotkaniemi, selected third overall by the Montreal Canadiens. So this guy's career has been interesting as well. Sort of a lot of storylines have gone along with his name, simply due to the fact that there was a controversy that occurred not long after he was drafted, where the Carolina Hurricanes actually put in a offer sheet to take Jesperi out of Montreal, which at the time when this first occurred, it was very rare. It hadn't happened, in the NHL very often at all, where one team would try to steal another player. So he's most notable for that. As for his playing accomplishments, he's a decent piece. Nothing really stands out about his game in terms of like he's not at an elite level at anything really, but still a good player. And most teams would be happy to have a guy like that to play a role on their team. And in 2019, we had Kirby Dach selected third overall by the Chicago Blackhawks. So Dach has been good and bad throughout his career as well. Again, just like the last couple of players on this list, nothing elite about him. I think he ended up eventually getting traded away from Chicago to Montreal. And he definitely still could be a type of player that can make a difference. But I just think that not enough has been seen from this guy in terms of like, a measuring stick, because when he was in Chicago, they never made the playoffs. Since he's joined Montreal, they've made the playoffs once. And at this point, the core of Montreal has kind of moved on. They're getting a lot more younger players to kind of fill that upper echelon role. And Dach has kind of fallen more into like a role-playing role where he's not having to be like the, offensive leader of the team, but yet he still has a lot of potential to give. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not people consider him a bust at 3 overall or not. I think that he can carve himself out a really nice niche if he can stay on an up-and-coming rising team like Montreal. In the next entry draft, third overall, we had Tim Stützle going third overall to the Ottawa Senators. And I believe that, once again, like the Leon Draisaitl selection from 2014, this is another steal of a deal at number 3 overall, because Tim Stützle has turned into a really, really competent first line player for the Ottawa Senators. And at the time when the Sens were down near the bottom of the league, selecting third overall, they really were trying to build a brand new core of young, talented players. And I think Tim Stützle has asserted himself as a centerpiece of that core for the Ottawa Senators, along with Brady Tkachuk. So really great player at number 3 overall here from this entry draft, and a really steal deal here for the Ottawa Senators. In 2021, we had the Anaheim Ducks selecting Mason McTavish third overall. And this guy took a couple years to start, showing his true strength and skill. Last season, so at the beginning of the 2025-2026 season, he was without a contract and needed to re-sign to begin the season. And there was a little bit of controversy with that because it waited sort of until the last minute. But now that he has signed and is playing with Anaheim, Anaheim looks to be turning their franchise around. They've been down near the bottom of the league for the last half decade or so. But as of the time of this recording, Anaheim is back in a playoff spot for the first time in a long time. And a lot of that has to do with the great play of Mason McTavish. 2022 saw Logan Cooley go third overall to, again, the Arizona Coyotes, who are now the Utah Mammoth. And this was another steal deal, guys. A great player. Somebody who I could see being the face of the franchise for a young Utah Mammoth club that's looking like they might be able to establish themselves as a playoff threat for this year. And, you know, obviously Utah being a new team because they just came from Arizona, they don't really have any history, but they're looking to start history. They're looking to become a team that is feared to make the playoffs and to be a threat for the Stanley Cup. In 2023, we had Adam Fantilli going third overall to the Columbus Blue Jackets. So again, this is the type of player who could establish himself as a corner piece for the Blue Jackets for the foreseeable future. But I think not enough time has passed since his draft that we can truly say one way or another how he is going to be perceived for the rest of his career. 2024, we had Anaheim Ducks again making a selection at third overall, taking Beckett Senecki. This guy, again, just like Fantilli, could be a corner piece for the Ducks moving forward. But again, we don't really have enough of a book on him yet. He's still in his rookie campaign, so it's too early to tell. But it looks promising so far. And then finally, last year's third overall selection went to the Chicago Blackhawks. Once again, Chicago finished down near the bottom of the standings, as they had been for the last few years. And when they selected third overall, they went with Anton Frondel, who I think is a center, somebody who could probably be a really strong candidate to be sort of their backup, you know, second or third liner center, because I think Chicago feels right now that they have enough of strong core for their sort of first line talent in Connor Bedard, and they recently signed Frank Nazar to a long-term deal as well. So they might just be kind of hedging their bets with a guy like Anton Frondel to continue building around. But again, just like we talked about with the Montreal Canadiens, the Ottawa Senators, and the Anaheim Ducks, recently having these third overall entry draft selections, they might be the next wave of contending teams. You know, I'm not even saying right now, but maybe in the future, maybe in the next 5 to 6 to 7 years, we might be looking at those teams as the ones to beat. You know, out east in the Metro Division, like I said, the Atlantic Division, Montreal and Ottawa. And here in the West, in the Pacific, it could be Anaheim, it could be San Jose, and in the Central, Chicago. So very interesting to see, guys. The third overalls. Let me know what you guys think about this by leaving a comment down below. And I actually also wanted to start a new segment at the end of the video called Comment of the Week. So this week's Comment of the Week is from Jacob the Human 8537. He said, yeah, it's honestly crazy how few of the second overalls pan out with their original team. So if you guys want to be featured as the comment of the week next week, leave a nice comment. And if you want to see me do the next obvious choice for this series, rating or taking a look back at the fourth overall picks, let me know in the comments as well. And if this is the first time you're seeing a Hockey TikToky video, don't forget to subscribe, guys. Hit the bell, get notified. And thank you all for watching. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you again in the next one.